So whatever position you have found, laying comfortably on your back, coming into that position, giving that time to arrive, to release, and to check in. Some days there's a lot swirling around, churning through your thoughts. It may help to just take a few breaths initially. Allow there to be a little bit of a clearing by feeling your breath. And then within that clearing, you might just have that bit of space to observe whatever thoughts you might be carrying with you into this time of day. Observing without going deep into what those thoughts are exactly. You might just notice, do they have a tone? Are they feeling fast or frantic? Are they feeling a little more sluggish or blurry? And they also may feel like thoughts coming from the past, anything leading up to this moment, conversations, things you've done. Or they also may be in the future. If you've got something that you've got going on today, plans, schedules. And again, without necessarily noticing those specifics and the details, let those start to fade. And bring yourself into the present. And see about the details of the present. Any little things, any little sensations in your body. The detail of air moving through your nose or past your upper lip. You might use some of those details just as information to set an intention without overthinking it. See if there's a word or a short phrase, something to bring in, whether it's something you want to feel in your body, or maybe it's a form of energy that you want to feel through your mind, feeling calm, feeling peace, feeling love, feeling light, feeling grateful. Just give yourself a few moments with that positive thought. Imagine what it feels like. Maybe inviting that feeling to grow, to expand, to feel it a little stronger. And we'll keep that intention with us as we move through our practice, but let's begin to move into the body. A little bit of movement right here on your back. Let's take some cat-cow on your back. So you can start with your knees bent, your feet flat on the floor. And we'll start to roll through those lower segments of the spine where The tailbone turns down, we get that arched back. That's the inhale. And then trying to press that arch flat, bringing the small of your back towards the ground with your exhale. So the inhale is creating that arch. And the exhale is trying to flatten it. And bringing in those long, slow breaths. Letting it ease through. And even though we're moving down in the pelvic bowl, at the tailbone and the low back, I think there's also a little movement that happens from your head. So there might just be a little counter movement or complementary movement of the head kind of moving along the ground or dragging back and forth. Or maybe it feels like a little nod. And then we're just going to use that little nod with a little decompression by taking your hands, clasping them underneath your head, so creating a little cradle for your head to sit in. And once your head is resting there in your hands, when you continue that cat-cow movement, when your tailbone turns down is when you might feel like your head is kind of pulling against your hands. So you're kind of looking for that pull against the base of the palm that connects near your thumb. And that's kind of connecting at the base of the skull where it goes close to your neck. So that's where we just get a little bit of traction. When you go towards the flat back, it's kind of like your head is rolling back into more of the fingers part of your clasp. And if that's not really connecting in your body, you're not feeling exactly that kind of movement, that's okay. Just kind of let whatever's happening, happen. You don't have to force it right now or figure it out even. And just continue that movement with breath. And then we're just going to release that movement. You've got a neutral spine and your head is just resting in your hands. And just a little bit more from here. You're going to keep your hands where they are. Coming back to our cat-cow tilt, we're going to add movement of the elbows so that when your tailbone turns down, the elbows press down towards the floor. Maybe you feel that as the shoulders pressing down as well. The chest puffs up a little bit. And then as you go towards the flat back, we're going to lift the elbows towards the ceiling, like you're kind of covering your ears with your arms. You can keep your head on the ground or on your hands on the ground. And so we'll use the inhale to open that back up, elbows down, tailbone down. And the exhale to bring the elbows up and press the small of your back down. So almost like you've got these little butterfly wings at the side of your head. I'm just moving into some of that shoulder space already. Once again, we'll be settling into just a neutral space, letting your elbows rest, letting your spine find neutral. You're neither in a big arch or that flattened, just a normal natural curve of the lower back. All right, let's slide your hands out from under your head. Bring your knees in towards your belly. Bring your arms around your legs. Give a little squeeze, a little sway side to side. And then we'll begin to find our way on up and over to sit. So you can roll up or you can roll over and then come up and find your way to just a tall seated position. And once you get there, taking some time to feel your spine coming into alignment, stacking your shoulders over your hips, floating your head above your heart, giving yourself a few moments to just arrive in that seat. Sometimes as soon as we get upright, so things start to tense already. So if you feel that lifting in the shoulders or a tightening in your jaw, right away just checking in and seeing about alleviating some of that tension. All right, let's come back to our intentions. Just drawing to mind that thought you had near the beginning, that positive feeling, bringing it back into your space, back into your body. And here we'll set that intention out into the world, just sharing that positive feeling outward. And I like to use the visualization of light. If something else works better for you, by all means, call on anything that works. I know somebody who likes to visualize more of a color than maybe just a white light, but still feeling like whatever you're drawing in is coming into your body with your breath and starts to expand out when you exhale. So as you inhale, it's coming in and getting bright, and as you exhale, it's spreading out. And just trusting that whatever your personal intention was is something that many people can appreciate and could use just right now. So as we share that positivity, sending it out freely, breath by breath, let it fill the space where you are. Let it expand out into your community, into the countryside, into the neighborhood, into the county, into the state. Eventually, that intention is covering the country, covering the continent, covering the oceans, and surrounding the earth. Can you see the earth surrounded in that intention, like it's just another layer of the atmosphere? Something for everybody to breathe in. Let's seal it in with a breath together. Take a nice deep breath in. Let that breath out. And then let's bring the attention back inward, back to just your own body sitting here. Let's take the hands together at the heart. And again, we'll take a breath together. A full breath in and out. And then we'll begin right here with just a little bit of arm movement to get into the shoulders right away. So we're going to lift the arms up overhead and just keeping the hands touching as far as they can go up above you. So if that's straight up, that's great. If it's a little bit in front of you, that's fine. If the elbows have to stay bent, that's great too. But lifting the arms up and then bringing the elbows straight out to the side in a cactus shape, about the height of your shoulders. And then squeeze the elbows backwards so you're opening up the chest. And then we'll bring the elbows forward. So the hands touch and maybe the elbows can touch. Still working to about that height of your shoulders. So we'll start that with a movement in our breath as well. So our inhale, we'll lift the hands up. And the exhale, open the arms out. And the inhale, squeezing backwards. And the exhale, bringing it forward. Once again, inhaling to rise up. Exhale, open out to the sides. Inhale, bringing it back. And exhale, squeezing it forward. And again, inhale, rise up. Exhale, open out. Inhale, squeezing back. Exhale, coming forward. And one more time, inhale up. Exhale out. Inhale backward. And exhale forward. From here, let's bring the hands down, clasp them. Turn that clasp inside out. Press it away from you. Just a big stretch out. Let that pull all the way across the back side of the shoulders. So you're pushing your hands away from you. And then just seeing about bringing those hands up. They might not reach as far when they're in this position. And then taking your arms all the way down, all the way back behind you, and then again, clasping if you can reach. So either just reaching your hands towards each other, or if you can get that interlacing fingers, go for it. Squeeze the palms towards each other and press down. Now opening that front line of the chest. And if it works, seeing about lifting the arms upward behind you. And they might only go a teeny tiny bit, that's fine. Give it another breath. And then release. And you might just want a little shrug of your shoulders. And we'll continue on. Let's get to all fours. So you can come onto hands and knees. And just take a moment to line up your limbs, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Even your feet, go straight back from your knees. And we'll begin our cats and cows. So cow has the belly down, chin and tailbone lifted. Cat is our rounded back spine. Lower the head, lower the tail. And then up, and we have that inhale for cow. Exhale to draw back into cat. Let this start to feel fluid, feel free through the spine. Notice spots that might be just a little bit stuck. Give them a little more time. And just a little bit of oscillating of your awareness through these cats and cows. So when you're in cow, when the belly comes down, we're really focusing a little more in the chest and the upper back, giving that a little more oomph, and maybe even backing off of the low back a little. That can get a little over compressed. And then when you're in your cat, as you go towards that cat, now pushing a little more through the lower back space. Let that open up along the back side. And so as we go back and forth, just a little more awareness in the upper spine for cow, and a little more awareness in the lower back for cat. Just a few more rounds. We'll be drawing back through to center, to neutral. Just pausing there for a moment. Lengthen out through the neck, through the crown of the head. One more full breath. Just feeling sturdy. From here, we'll be moving to a child's pose. You can bring your big toes together. You can keep your knees how they are, or nudge them together, or take them wide. Lots of options. And then lowering your head down to the floor, to your hands, to a block, wherever you can rest the weight of your head. And just checking in there in this first child's pose. Let yourself arrive into it. Let your body soften. Let the ground hold you. And even just by doing a few of those shoulder exercises already, you might feel a little bit of heat in that space, whether it's around the shoulder joint itself or across the upper back, or even into the chest, the collarbones. A lot of areas where we might feel that tension and feel that ability to release. Take another deep, full breath here. And stay for the exhale, maybe even softening a little bit further. And then we'll be finding our way back up through all fours. And see about coming into downward facing dog just for a few breaths. You can come on up off the knees. And if down dog is not in your practice today, feel free to stay on the knees, but make it more active. So you're pushing back to the hips, you're stretching out through the arms, you're spreading into the fingers, the toes are tucked under, the heels pressing, backwards or downwards. And from either of those positions, we're going to find our way to a ragdoll pose. So you can just come to standing anywhere on your mat and allow your body to fold over your legs. And feel free to have a really generous bend at the knees to help get a little bit more of that hip crease, to come down with the belly, come down with the chest, come down with the head. Arms can hang free or catch your elbows. And even a little movement here, a little sway, maybe bending one knee and straightening the other. Or a little nod of the head, a shrug of your shoulders. And let's think about taking your hands and clasping them behind the head, kind of like we did when we were laying down. And just using the weight of your hands to give a little bit more weight to your head. So you're not pulling it down, but it's just a little assistance, a little intention for the neck to lengthen. Really the whole spine lengthening here. We'll let the hands slide back down, finding the floor, and walking your hands over towards the right. And if you can't quite reach the floor with your hands, feel free to bend a little bit more. Or you can use a block underneath your fingers and just make the floor a little bit taller. And even as you're reaching over to the side, maybe a little movement here in the hips, in the head. See what's hanging on, see where the stretch goes when you move. I'm just gonna bring it around to the other side, so help your hands across to the left. See what's over there. Again, any intuitive movement, knowing that you're never just stuck in one spot, you can always shift. Always see what happens when you move, even just a little bit. We'll be coming back through to center, just to get ourselves back through to our child's pose. And feel free to stop at a down dog first if you want to stretch that back out. Give it a breath or two. And then whenever you are ready to come back to the knees, go ahead and lower back down, melting into that child's pose again. And as you find that second child's pose, again, just checking in. Where do you feel in the body, maybe that you've worked on something, you've given it a little more warmth, a little bit more space. Sometimes we can already feel that just by coming back to kind of this home base pose, something familiar. Where is the body responding to anything that you've done? And just like we did a couple of side stretches in our ragdoll, we'll do that in child's pose as well. So with the arms outstretched, you can walk them over to the right. You can just take them over wherever they kind of go. Another option is taking that left hand and putting it on top of the right. So it's making that left side a little bit longer still. And whatever position you take, it usually starts with a reach. You're kind of coming across and initiating that stretch. But then can you let it soften and become a little more passive again? Relaxing whatever you can. And allowing the breath to do the work of the pose. So your inhale is just gonna feel a little bit more to the left side body, through the belly, through the waist, through the back. Letting the ribs spread a little further on that left side. as you inhale. Feeling the body soften in as you exhale. And then as you're ready, we're just gonna switch it over to the other side. Help yourself across. You can walk your hands to the left. Again, just reaching both hands over there or putting that right hand on top of the left hand. Softening down after you get into that stretch. Let it become more passive. Again, the breath may take over the work of the pose. Using that inhale to expand further into the right side. Relax even deeper as you exhale. And then as you're ready, we'll bring it back through. Find your way back to center. Let's lift on up to all fours. When you get to all fours, just a little bit here down at the legs. Let's take the right leg back behind you. Tuck your toes against the floor. The bottoms of the toes touch down. Push back through the heel. Push against the ground and get that stretch through the back of the leg. We're in that compressed little child's pose for a little while. So let's open it back up through the back of the knee, up through the thigh. You can release the right knee and send the left leg back. So just switching it out. Again, ground it down, pushing back. Feeling as though the back side of your leg is just really bright. Pushing up through the thigh, through the calf. Just another breath here. And we'll release. And let's sit from here. You can sit anyway, cross-legged, long-legged. You can be up on a block, a blanket, a bolster, whatever's comfortable. Once you get back to that nice tall posture, we're going to come back into our neck and shoulders. Again, just giving them this extra attention today. Let's start with a little different flow. We're just going to do that front and back movement. So we'll skip the up and down. We're going to use the inhale to squeeze your elbows back through that cactus shape. The exhale to bring them together out in front. Again, inhale, open. And exhale to close. And just one more. Inhale, squeezing the shoulder blades together. And we'll exhale, bring it together this time for eagle arms. You can take the right arm under the left. And hook around the elbows. A little more intensity is going to be trying to squeeze those hands upright or around each other. A little more restorative version, hands come to the shoulders. Either way, try to lift the shoulders, bring them forward. Even though the arms are wrapped up, see if you can release anything that feels really tense in your abdomen or your belly. From here, let's take your chin over to your right. Guiding your chin to the right, but keeping your elbows forward. And then bring your elbows along, over to the right, adding that in, and you might feel that a little more across the outer shoulder on the left side. Take another deep breath over here. And then unwind the twist, unwind the arms. Let's sweep them up. Take a deep breath in. And just like a snow angel, let your arms come all the way down. A little shrug of the shoulders. We're going to just start that over on the other side. So those cactus arms coming out wide and squeezing behind you. Inhale, bring it back. Exhale, squeeze it forward. Just two more. Inhale, floating backwards. Open the chest. Exhale, bring it forward. Open the back. And this last one, when you come together, again, eagle arms, this time left under right. Again, options to go high or to go low with those hands. But elbows come forward. And working into our arms, into our shoulders, but still being able to soften and release in other areas of the body. Even as we start to add this twist, so first just the head, the neck is going to turn to the left. And then adding the turn of the elbow so the upper back starts to turn as well. And lots of times when we start that twist, the whole body's just kind of like clenched in that position. So relax the legs, let the twist just happen a little more naturally. Give it another breath. And then again, release the whole thing, a big sweep up and all the way down. Okay, just a little shrug of the shoulders again, let that go. And then let's come into butterfly legs so you can help your feet together. So those are the feet touch. As we come into this butterfly, we'll stay a little while. We'll be going into a fold shortly. Know that you can always support under the legs. If you've got a block or a block and a blanket or a couple pillows, you can always put that under the knees if it's feeling really strained in your knees or your hips. So however you need to get that butterfly, start with it up nice and tall. Again, sometimes when you get to that tall spot, everything is lifted, including shoulders. So let the shoulders draw down. And then we'll start to lean in. So beginning to come forward without scrunching down just yet. We're going to move a little bit with the breath, where the inhale is lengthening forward, almost upward, kind of at that angle, lifting the chest. And the exhale is starting to get a little softer. So feel the spine kind of rolling downward. And the head can start to sink. And then again, the inhale is going to bring your heart forward and your gaze can even come forward. The exhale a little bit further downward. Couple more, inhaling to engage, to lengthen, exhaling to fold in. And that last one, we're going to fold down after your, or with your exhale and just stay there a little longer. And as you come out of that movement, see if anything else is holding tight, whether that's in your legs, in your back, in your neck, your shoulders, your jaw. You might give a little turn side to side. And you can absolutely just take this fold in stillness. If you'd like to come into a few more little exercises for the neck, we'll do them from down here. And you're just going to draw a little circle with your nose. So it's maybe the size of a quarter underneath you. And if it feels okay to go a little wider, feel free to maybe bring it out to the size of a little saucer or a softball. And if you've widened that circle, just starting to bring it in a little smaller and changing directions. Again, starting in a smaller circle. If it works to widen it, go for it, but just nice and slow and smooth. So a lot of times when we circle any part of the body, it's kind of jagged and a little skippy. So what we try to do is just connect a smoother pattern. And we get into a lot of tiny little muscles that control that movement. And then another thing you can try is more of like a little figure 8 underneath you, and it can go left and right. So maybe a little more like that infinity sign down the horizontal. And that too could start quite small. If it feels okay to move wider, go for it. It's your neck. Be kind to it. And you might start to make that a little smaller again as we change directions. So at some point, find that figure 8 going the other way. And if you're still in that serpentine, we'll just start to slow it down, make it smaller, come to center, eventually finding that stillness and taking a big breath there. We've been in this fold a little while, just being really gentle as you help yourself back up. You can use your arms to help your spine come back up nice and tall. And you can use your hands to help your legs come back up. So knees can come up to the top. Let's actually take the feet a little wider, and you can lean back on your hands, on your arms, and a little seated windshield wiper. So you can let that travel side to side, kind of softening your hips, taking whatever breadth of that movement works for you. Here we'll be finding our way down onto your back. So you can help yourself down, and we will be using that block eventually. So just have that within reach. When you get down to the ground, take a moment there. Maybe it's coming back into more windshield wipers, little knees to chest, wherever you need to be settled to help soften back to the ground. And again, eventually finding just a still spot to let yourself feel steady, feel grounded, and feel long and centered to the spine, including your head. So letting your head sit at center. Then you can set up as though we're going to do bridge. We're going to start with cat-cows again, but build it into bridges. So just making sure your knees and your feet are about hip distance apart and not too far away from you. So bring them on in, feet flat on the floor. We'll have the arms straight down at your sides so they can help kind of ground the movement. And again, we'll start with the cat-cow. So the inhale is the arched spine, tailbone is down. On the exhale, to the flat back. Another arched spine with the inhale. And as we go through the exhale, coming through the flat back and then following the tailbone up a little bit higher. So the weight of your hips lifts. Just a little baby bridge and then coming back down all the way through the inhale, back to the tailbone planted and the belly arching up. And again, shifting through to the flat back Lifting the tailbone, lifting the hips, peeling the spine up a little higher, and inhaling all the way back down. So take that at your own pace, your own breath, your own spine, undulating through that movement, vertebrae by vertebrae. You can stay low, or you can bring it up as high as your bridge wants to go. Just making sure to really be supportive through the grounding of your feet, the strength of your legs. That's really what's doing the heavy lifting here, as well as the gentle release. All right, the next time that you lift into your bridge, we're going to hold it up. So you can find it and sturdy it. Keep it strong through, again, the feet and the legs, but also into the arms, the hands, shoulders pressing down. Breathe. Taking just one more deep breath in through your bridge, and then releasing on down. When you get to the floor, just pausing down there in constructive rest, which is just that shape you're in on your back. Knees are still bent, feet flat on the floor, neutral spine. And then let's move to our supported bridge. So you can find that block now. Lift again to bridge and set your block underneath at any height. And that's going at that space just behind the pelvic bowl, the sacrum, sitting on the flat surface of the block. And when you arrive in supported bridge, you might just nudge it a little bit. Shoulders come down, your back, the neck, and the head, finding that center space again. Some days I like to roll the palms up, let the arms kind of rotate a little bit towards the ceiling. But once you get there, once you find that comfort spot, see if you can let go. Release your body into the shape. And once again, letting your breath be all that needs to happen here. Let the breath do the work for you. And then I'm going to give a few options. You can just stay in bridge and not do anything else. That's totally fine. Option to do a figure 4 in your bridge. And so the right ankle would come up and prop on top of the left thigh. And you just want to make sure you still feel sturdy, stable in your posture. So if you feel really tippy or unsteady, you can also take that figure 4 without the block. So you just come to the ground and set yourself up there. So see if you can let this part of our practice be intuitive. Let your body go to a spot that feels good. Let it be receptive. And then I'd like us all to meet in a figure 4 on our back on the floor without the block. So you have to kind of gauge where you're at. If you've got that stability to lift off the block in figure 4, just go for it. Slide that block out. Otherwise, both feet to the ground first. Take the block out of the way. Get down, and then again, right ankle above that left thigh, figure 4. And this can also always have options too. So you might just want to stay right there on the ground, or we'll bring the legs in towards you. Getting a little deeper into that hip space. The outer thigh, maybe the hamstrings behind your thigh. Any posture that you choose, any variation, we're just bringing the breath into what you feel. Whether that's a very subtle sensation or a deep stretch, let yourself be present to it. And wherever you are, take another breath. All the way in and all the way out. Be guiding ourselves all the way out long into a full body stretch. Take your time to take apart wherever you are and lengthen it out, reaching front to back. Full stretch to the arms, to the legs, through the trunk. And then relax that stretch. Just let it melt into place. And then we'll be coming back around into our figure 4s. And again, you're just kind of gauging this, how you feel today. You can start right away with your figure 4 on your back if that's where you were before. Or let's take it into that bridge. So once you've got your supported bridge, block underneath. That left leg would be on top this time, setting the outer ankle to the right thigh. And any version of that figure 4, the left knee is just kind of drawing out away from you, a little tight, little bit of a press towards the floor, or away from you, whether that's with gravity or just a little bit of engagement. Again, we'll be shifting to that figure 4 on our back. So from here, or kind of unwinding a little bit to get there, support your body in that transition. You're getting that block out of the way, and once you're on your back, sturdy on the floor, again, you can stay put with your leg on the ground or bring your legs in for a squeeze. So just listening to your body again. Bringing it into whatever version of figure 4 is going to work with you today. And let's stay for another breath. Ease it in. And release it out. And then we'll be coming into that full body stretch again. So just as you're ready, both feet find the floor. Lengthen them out. Arms reach back behind you. Let everything stretch. Let everything soften. And then we'll come into just a little windshield wiper here. So arms can go out wide. You can bend your knees, take your feet a little wide, and let your knees travel side to side. Feel free to let your head travel side to side as well, just nodding left and right. And if you want to bring your arms into that movement, you can reach the arm that's away from your knees in any direction. It can reach further out, it can reach back behind you, and then it just relaxes when your knees come towards that side and the other arm stretches. So it's just another way to bring the whole body into this movement, and it's totally optional. And just listening to the body, letting it move naturally, however your body wants to move without thinking, without analyzing, without judging it. And eventually finding your way back through to center. Checking in at that center point. Do you need one last thing? A knees to chest, happy baby, another bridge, another stretch. Whenever you're ready, we're coming to our final relaxation. So if you're good to go, come right in. If you need one last little thing, take it. Take your time. No need to rush. Allow even that path to get to our final relaxation to be relaxed. Any movement you need to take is relaxed itself. The intention behind it is filled with relaxing. Inviting yourself into that space where your body can rest. Feeling open to that ability to rest, to this time we take for nourishment, for refueling. Knowing that it's so important to give ourselves that time to take care of ourselves. That is what allows us to keep going. To give whatever we have to give. By first giving to ourselves. Give yourself this time to relax. Give yourself this time to rest. Before needing to do anything else, just feel your body breathing. Feel the movement of air through your nose. Feel your body rising and falling with the breath. And take a few deeper breaths. Invite a little more energy in with the inhale. Let it seep out into your limbs, into your hands, into your feet. Feel free to take a little movement, a little stretch. And when you're ready, bring it in. Help your knees in towards you. Give yourself another little squeeze, a little hug. Thank yourself for taking time today. From there, you can roll yourself over onto either side, just kind of curled up for a moment, letting the ground hold you again, letting go again. And then from there, easing yourself back to sit. Taking this time to transition from place to place until we're back upright. Starting to enter into the rest of the day while carrying a little bit of that quiet space, a little bit of this presence, and even our intention, carrying that with us into the rest of the day. Connecting again to that intention, bringing it back to your breath. Let's take these 3 breaths together to close practice. Take a deep breath in and let that breath out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Namaste.